In fact, the consistent and persistent sponsoring of this campaign at Gbajabiamila non-stop, for me, my discipline is suggestive. A plan by a certain quarter to get the man out of there. Makinde is inconsequential in any calculation.
No, that's not fair.
My opinion.
He's a governor.
But am I entitled to express my opinion?
You're not being fair. I think you're not being fair.
Okay, because what we look at is metrics, data, and numbers. So if you look at these metrics, data, and numbers, which equation brings him close? Because for now, Makinde may not even win a presidential election in his state, not talk of anywhere else. Makinde has not gone to any part of Nigeria. Makinde has not nominated a vice presidential candidate. Makinde never had a strong political history where Makinde has interacted with the rest of Nigeria. Makinde has been confined only to Oyo State. He's not even known that much in Lagos. Sowore wants to be president. Sowore is more pronounced, more known in Nigeria than Makinde. There is no part of Nigeria you go, people will not say they like Sowore. Yeah, but even Sowore in this election is inconsequential. Now to bring then Makinde
anyway,
as a Makinde
is far more competent to respond to you than me, so I'll just leave.
He has always been abusing me. So
are you not worried that if you say he's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, your principal, President Tinubu, may lose your state? Makinde won back-to-back governor for your state.
Let me tell you.
Your principal may lose Oyo State.
My principal is winning Oyo.
And Osun State.
No,
he has supporters also.
He will win Oyo in a landslide. I will tell you why. Because
he did not win Oyo in last election.
Yes, I'm telling you now he will win.
Why?
The president will win Oyo in a landslide.
You think so?
Yes, the president will win Osun in a landslide. Forget these people who want to talk politics to politics. The president has expanded the broad base of his support across Nigeria. There's no part of South where president will not be voted for. Look at the way he has increased in the southeast. We have the governor of Enugu, and look at the work he's doing and the way he's expanding the popularity of the party in the southeast. In the southeast, even governors who are not in our party have formed partnership with us. The governor of Anambra, the governor of Abia. You can see the way the president has expanded his broad base.
This is Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade, and my guest this morning is Barrister Daniel Bala, Special Advisor to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on media and policy communications. My dear brother Daniel.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Another encounter again.
In your new studio.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Let's get on with this. And
somebody told me that your station is an opposition platform. That there is no day the opposition don't come in numbers. I say it's free speech.
We accept it. Mm-hmm. Guilty as charged. But the good thing, you should have told them we also give room for right of reply.
Sure.
You know? Let's start with the Orire abduction saga. Mercifully, we can say now it's ended. It's ended well, though there were losses on all sides. A couple of teachers were lost. Mercifully, also none of the students, either died or suffered any injuries, except maybe psychological. Then the soldiers lost, I think, a lieutenant and then maybe one or two other men. But there are conspiracy theories flying everywhere about the circumstances that led to that operation to rescue them. Can you give us the inside details?
If I may ask, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding it?
Yes, the official report from maybe the military establishment was that, they had cordoned off the entire area of where the victims were kept for months, and they captured. Part of their strategy was to pick up their relatives of these bandits and then use them as bargaining chip or as counter threats to make sure they don't harm the victims and all of those. And then, of course, there's the other extreme theory that, don't believe governments. Ransom was paid. We pleaded with them negotiation and all of those. So that's what I'm saying. Let's set the record straight.
I choose to believe the report of the military. Why? Because if you remember, long before now, consistently the personnel from the army and their spokespersons have always said that we have cordoned off the place, but the challenge we're having now is that if we go forcefully, it may lead to the loss of lives.
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage. So if they have been saying it for many months before, for weeks before this incident, then they must have the accurate account. But secondly, I saw on social media there is a young man, I can't remember his name, who used to give update on security matters. And usually what he does is whenever any report comes from the army, he'll come and say lie and then give his own version. I saw him coming out to say that what I can confirm to you is that there was no ransom paid in this release. He said, the only thing I disagree, that's the young man, the only thing I disagree is that army that they said, that army personnel that they said was killed in the shootout, that the man was killed earlier than that time through ambush. So if the fiercest critics is saying that no ransom was paid, people should believe. I don't even know why Nigerians, anytime a situation like that occurs, the concern is more about this type of trivialities. For example, when they were in custody, anything else the government says, people will say, look, bring the people alive. That's what matters to us, nothing else. Now the people are back. And instead of rejoicing on that, then people come up with another theory. I know that this is election season. So I'm not surprised that there are so many theories, so many misconceptions, so many misconstruing version of whatever government is doing. But I can tell you that the accurate information is the one that was released by the Nigerian army because they were the ones involved. They were the ones that brought them home.
Why has the president not spoken about this at all?
I am not aware. So let me ask, what was he supposed to say?
As the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that is an official designation, a constitutional designation. But beyond that, in this environment, we'll call him also, he's designated as father of the nation. And you think the nation does not deserve to hear from him?
Let me give you a scenario. This president is a president of order. And what he tries to avoid at every given time is a situation where unnecessary media coverage will be about the way governance is run. This thing happened in a state that is not governed by APC. And you know how the governor of that state has tried to make a cheap political credit out of it. From when they were kidnapped, he said it was after he declared his intention to run for president. And when these are people from his state, when you are going to hand them over to the governor, if the president has spoken, then this governor will speak, then it will be the version of which one is correct. President doesn't have time for that because there are many serious things in this country that the president is focusing on delivering for the Nigerian people. So released to the government of that state, the governor you can even see the way he came out and the statement he was making, still conjuring another theory out of it. So the president acted wisely. But you see, let me say something that is very critical and important for people to know, because the creation of the media around president speak to us sometimes is a bit cheap and mundane. Why do I say that? From the days when presidents used to speak through the mainstream media, when there were no new media, it is the television that will be flagged behind, there will be national music, and then the speeches. Nigeria has evolved. The world has evolved. Take, for example, like Donald Trump. Almost on every policy matter, long before you physically hear him, he would have tweeted. Now, TV houses go to his own official through social to take government policy. But that at first, when he started, it was being criticized. But that's how now the governance is going. Because you see, what you have is your phone. As we're talking now, we're not looking at any mainstream media. But in the course of our conversation, the minute you look at your phone, you see updates on a wide range of issues. Agents of government have spoken in respect of the matter. We move on to the next thing, right? This is why, in my view, the president wisely concentrated on other matters. Thankfully, the president is appreciated for the fact that through his bravery and wisdom, we're able to get the people back.
Okay, let's dig deeper into this. I hope you're not trying to say by any stretch of the imagination that the president speaking to Nigerians, it's a long shot, it's not necessary. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm trying to say is that what I learned in communication in those days, we speak only through email, post office. I write you. Then later, internet came. I email you. And then from internet, we have mobile devices came where all these things are there. I page you. Then from I page you, I BlackBerry you. From BlackBerry you, now I WhatsApp you. All these are means of communication. And any of these means that is used by the government to communicate and disseminate information to the Nigerian people is valid and legal. The president cannot be jacketed into one form. The speaking to Nigerians through TV is very wonderful, and he does that from time to time. But we don't want to be caged by that, so that if you don't see him on television, then he has not spoken. And I'm sure that as a veteran journalist, you must be aware that the state house has a press corps. The press corps there are the ones that hold government to account on behalf of the Nigerian people and report. And the press corps they have never been hindered from accessing information.
The question, Daniel, is that if I am right, correct me if I am not, the president has only granted one media session, one media interview.
What kind of
interview?
Listen,
Daniel, just hold on. He sat down with a team of journalists. And
okay, so it's better you are specific on
Daniel,
that.
Only once in 3 years and 2 months now. Is that normal?
Yeah, it's his style.
With all the issues that we've had in these 3 years plus, the president only deemed it important to grant one, just one. Of course,
so
he has media advisors such as yourself.
Right.
But we did not elect you. Yes. And there are answers I would ask you now. There are questions I would ask you. Your answers are only going to be to what you know or what you're privileged.
But why is it that after I answered, if you look at the media, they will say President Bwala Tinubu said, or presidency said? Because the media understands the onerous task of the spokespersons for the president. It means the government can be vicariously liable for the statement made by the spokesperson to the president, except if the person at the point in which he was speaking said, these are my personal opinion.
Okay, let's flog this. Let's delve into this issue of Governor Shak alleging a setup, a conspiracy, that it was immediately after he declared to vie for the presidency in 2027 that this abduction...
as if he's that relevant in the election.
No, in his own mind, he's relevant. And to his supporters, he's relevant.
Then he's living my question, Daniel, is that
what do you think is the motive or the justification for this? Or is it, can you actually dismiss it completely?
Yes, because Makinde is inconsequential in any calculation.
No, that's not fair.
My opinion.
He's a governor.
But am
a governor of an entire state.
But am I entitled to
express
my...
No, you're not being fair. I think you're not being fair to me.
Okay, because, what we look at is metrics, data, and numbers. So if you look at these metrics, data, and numbers, which equation brings him close? Because for now, Makinde may not even win a presidential election in his state, not talk of anywhere else. Makinde has not gone to any part of Nigeria. Makinde has not nominated a vice presidential candidate. Makinde never had a strong political history where Makinde has interacted with the rest of Nigeria. Makinde has been confined only to Oyo State. He's not even known that much in Lagos, not to talk of the southwestern Nigeria.
Are you being serious now?
Yeah, I'm very, very serious.
President Tinubu was only a governor of Lagos State before he became president.
But even in his Nadeko days, there's no part of Nigeria where he doesn't have collaboration. Remember, collaborated with the Kingibes, collaborated with the Atikus, collaborated. So if you want to be president, you want to be president of the country. So it's important that you are relevant around the country, you have partnerships, and you have collaboration. This is what we use. Anybody can wake up from his bed. Showore wants to be president. Showore is more pronounced, more known in Nigeria than Makinde. There is no part of Nigeria you go, people will not say they like Showore. Yeah, but even Showore in this election is inconsequential. Now to bring then Makinde
anyway,
as
Showore is far more competent to respond to you than me, so I'll just leave
He has always been abusing me. So, and you know one funny part? Showore has been a long time friend. We have a
Yeah,
very
he told me
cordial,
just yesterday. He told me
yes.
that both of you are very
Yeah,
good
we
friends.
have a
So
very cordial
I'll leave that,
relationship
you guys will sort yourselves out.
until he broke the system. He broke the rules. When he came out, he didn't even need to, and abused me on my interview with Mehdi Hassan. When he did that, I forwarded that part to him. I felt disappointed. Let me tell you why. The first time I talked with Showore was telling me I'm one of the fewest Nigerians he has the highest regards for. And he said, during his days in custody in DSS, anytime I came online on television, he saw the courage with which I sometimes even blamed the government on matters related to him, even though I was speaking, supporting the government that I was supporting, and that I was bold in the way. Now, that's how our relationship continued. There are times he asks questions. He will send it to me. Like, for example, the first time I met with the president, so we shook our hands. There's a picture. If you reverse the picture, the right hand that you shake each other will be as if you shook with the left. So he forwarded that. He saw the picture. He forwarded to me. He said, "I never knew you two. You have joined secret society." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You people shook out with left hand." I said, "No, we shook out with right. The videos are all." So this sound we have related, but I felt very bad when he came out. He didn't. Even when you listen to him that day, he was talking, you could see that he just wanted to put his voice, because you see that Mehdi Hassan created economy for a lot of people.
Many franchises.
Oh, many franchises. And from that day till today, if you have noticed, even if I say hello, good morning, they will say breaking news. Bwala told somebody good morning at 3 p.m.
Bwala address the issue of Makinde becoming fit for president.
So if you look at Makinde, for example,
this conspiracy about this abduction.
He wants to. This is my thinking. I'm a politician. I am also a political scientist.
So he has invited the United Nations to investigate. Yes. So you cannot say this is flippant.
Who doesn't know in United Nations? Let me tell you this. United Nations, the whole world have been on this matter. He didn't even know. He's inviting people who have been on it. Because anytime, let me tell you why terrorists abduct children or children in school. Because of the United Nations, or women, because of the United Nations Convention relating to them. Anytime you abduct children, it is no longer a national affair. It's a global affair. So that's what they do. These people have known and have been involved in it. But for him to say he's inviting them now, it means he doesn't even know what is happening. But you see, what else do you think Makinde will do to stay relevant in the media, other than to cut controversy, to drive conspiracy narrative? There's nothing else he will do. You get the point. So, and we who know the nuances of media, we know how people manipulate the media to stay relevant. If you know in media, they say all information is relevant, all news, whether bad or good.
Controversy sells like wildfire. But are you not worried that if you say it's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, your principal, President Tinubu, may lose Oyo State? Makinde won back-to-back governor for your state.
Let me tell you.
Your principal may lose Oyo State.
Yeah, my principal is winning Oyo.
And Osun State. No, because he has supporters also.
He will win Oyo in a landslide. I will tell you why. Because
he did not win Oyo in last election.
Yes, I'm telling you now, he will win.
Why?
I was in Oyo. Do you know why I went to Oyo? They wanted to. They keep been saying that the president has not done anything at all. These were the things that Makinde has been leading them to believe. So we went to Oyo, and we went to the local government in Oyo. Wallahi, if I tell you this thing was like, the way if you're a Christian, you go to church when a teacher is teaching and they say this one is revelation. When I started to tell them how much they get in their local government, they could not believe. In fact, the last radio station had to practically do the work of his information people to defend him. So the locals that we went and met and we talked with, there is a great sense that this man is no longer popular in that state. Because it became apparent to them that it is this governor who has not been delivering deliverables to the local government because money has been coming. When I asked them to ask their governor, including the journalists, where is the money going to? I was so shocked. They told me that the governor does not even believe there's local government.
But do you know how many local governments are in Oyo State? 33. I was born in Oyo State.
Okay, if it is 33,
yes.
What do you say
about?
So you are
using 1 over 33.
No. I went to 3. And the 3 local government I went to, I'm coming now, the 3 local government I went to, they are not like the highest. But the point to be made is not the number. Doesn't Lagos have local government
my
like
brother
that?
Daniel, let's focus on the issues.
But you are the one that brought the issue.
Why has the president not called Sheyi Makinde? In this entire 56 days, 58 days or so now.
I am not aware are not in a position to know, I am not even pushing much on that answer to your question about Makinde. It is a distraction because we might now talk about many other issues. But do you know that media, when you finally publish it, it will be as if that's the only thing we talked about Makinde. So now what I've learned when I go to media houses, I will not lead in questions. Any question that I consider is likely to lead as a breaking news in the media, and I'm not interested in that.
Critically speaking, are you saying that this entire situation in Orire was not, there's no iota of truth in it, that it was orchestrated? That's the appropriate word.
If it was orchestrated, how about those ones in Borno that are still in custody? Exactly. How about those in different parts of Nigeria? I'm telling you that Makinde needs to be in the news. And the only way to be in the news is to politicize everything. You see, now that the Orire people are out, probably he will not have another talking point. He will stay irrelevant. And then he will start thinking of the next thing he will... I'm disappointed. He's a young man who should be one of the emerging leaders in the Southwest that tomorrow you will say will be a voice. He has not used his political position in 8 years to develop a broad-based partnership with the rest of Nigeria. Nobody knows him outside Oyo. Even in Lagos, he's not known.
The conspiracy centers around the fact that the president is totally unpopular in that part of the country, even though he is from that part of the country. But that with this scripted or orchestrated rescue and all of that, he's just like, let me use the word crowd, you're basking in that euphoria of rescue, that the president is milking this to say, he's a performing, whereas in the other parts of Nigeria, Borno State, your state, in Niger State, in Kwara State, what has happened to, some people have been in captivity for over 6 months or so. Nothing has happened.
Let me tell you, it's really sad to say that the president is not popular in that part of the Nigeria. Do you know why? How can, let's say I'm in the position of president, I want to make myself popular, then I will orchestrate a kidnapping for how many weeks? During this period, do you know how many times all kinds of bad press have gone against the president? So I'll go and create bad press for myself. In fact, let me even say it, Makindo is not even a good opposition personality. There's a way to play opposition. I played opposition. You play it in a more matured way. After the election, when I was in PDP, for 1 year, I engaged every policy, but I did that constructively. I brought out facts. Where I was wrong, we'll move on. Where I'm right. But these people who have had the privilege of governing even a state, and then you don't even know how to play opposition. You try to create a situation of discontent. Let me tell you, the president is more popular in the Southwest now than he was before 2023 election. And if in case you want some prediction, because I'm very good in political prediction, the president will win Oyo in a landslide.
You think so?
Yes, the president will win Oshun in a landslide. Forget these people who want to talk politics to politics. The president has expanded the broad base of his support across Nigeria. There's no part of South where president will not be voted for. Look at the way he has increased in the Southeast. We have the governor of Enugu, and look at the work he's doing and the way he's expanding the popularity of the party in the Southeast. In the Southeast, even governors who are not in our party have formed partnership with us. The governor of Anambra, the governor of Abia. You can see the way the president has expanded his broad base. Come to the North Central and see those places where they said before now people have apathy, like Benue and Plateau, because they felt that the Christians, that whole narrative of Christian genocide and the lack of inclusion. Since the president has come, the national chairman of the party is from the North Central. The secretary to the government of the Federation from the North. There are so many opportunities that the North Central have had because of the president's expansion of partnerships. You come to the Northeast where I come from. But for President Bola Tinubu, I am trying to imagine the kind of equation that will bring me to become a spokesman for the president. That is the way he expanded. See the popularity, the way he's expanded. You can go to all parts of Nigeria. I have embarked on a missionary journey of interrogating the policies of governors of Progressive Party and whether it is in consonance with our party manifesto and policy. And we go to the grassroots. So we don't just talk. When I went to Lagos, we saw the grassroots. What Lagos State is even doing is out of, you will see it with time.
You know what, Daniel?
Allow me to learn. So that theory that the president is not popular in the Southwest is a hoax.
We'll round up with this. We'll come back to it and round up with this on how the president's path to victory next year. We'll round up with it eventually. But let's talk about something that is very, very important, a matter of serious public interest. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The raging allegations concerning the chief of staff to the president, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, concerning this, in inverted commas, fake agency, Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council or something like that. A certain Mr. or Prince Adeyemi, who said allegedly, he gave 100 million to Mr. Gbajabiamila to procure appointment as DG of that agency. Of course, Mr. Gajabia denied it. The presidency, through Mr. Bayo Onanuga, also put out a statement. But for consistent media pressure, the president eventually had to come out belatedly to mandate the ICPC, which is even questionable, because why does they have to mandate ICPC? They should, that system should activate itself automatically. Anyway, what do you have to say about this entire?
You see, I've been seeing a lot of commentaries on that. But apart from being a special advisor to the president on media, I'm also a lawyer, and I'm bound by the tenets and of our profession. Once a matter is committed to for investigation, everybody is to keep it like sub judice, just like when a matter is in court. Because what you say might interfere with the investigation one way or the other. So that is why you heard what the man was saying, that he's asking for independent people because already the presidency has taken a position. You see, the allegation is given. That's why I don't want to comment on that, because my principal has ordered investigation in respect of the matter. I mean, as a spokesman, when your boss has ordered investigation and you go ahead to talk, it will really undermine on the authority of your principal. So that's why I make no comment on that.
Okay, but without digging into the substance, to respect your views, but is it ideal for the president to mandate the ICPC to investigate Mr. Gbajabiamila and this entire situation while Mr. Gbajabiamila is still in office?
You see, the president did not ask that Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila be investigated. He asked the ICPC to investigate the situation. Apart from for the first time Gbajabiamila made statement, he never commented. But that young man who is all over the media talking, I'm sure that most of the people who watch it have even started questioning the credibility of his testimonies, because he changes it every day. In court, there is what we say, this is not a witness of truth.
Credible witness.
Yes. Credible witness is not a witness of truth, because you keep changing posts. One occasion he said this, he goes to Very Dark Man, he said another one, another day he reversed what he told Very Dark Man, another day he said the whole of this thing saga, that he has never met Gbajabiamila, has ever communicated with him. That should have ended the entire case. But I will not be one that will make any comment about the matter. It should be subjected.
Last point on it, so that we'll lay it to rest. I mean, he has been everywhere because, number one, he says he's afraid for his life. And you would agree he has reasons to be afraid, because the go-between, yes, he admitted he had never met Mr. Gbajabiamila, but that he spoke with him on the phone through the middleman, the person who collected the money, the courier who collected the money. And guess what? That courier, a certain Mr. Tanimola, died in mysterious circumstances in a hotel in Otako. And that even attempts were made on his own life, the Mr. Adeyemi. So you can understand why.
But let me tell you this. I saw the first statement where he said, when he said the man died and that the guy was killed, he too, his life was going to be killed. Then after he said that, when Very Dark Man was interviewing him, he's also out in the media. Very Dark Man said, to say the record straight, you say they killed so and so. He said, I can't say they killed. You say they tried to kill. He said, no, I can't say, but I know that there was fire incident and the rest. Then after a while, he now came back to Shewon's program again. And he said they killed that person and they are looking for his life. That inconsistency, like I told you when we were talking about lawyer, is based on evidence. Church will tell you based on conscience. Law tells you based on evidence. He's not a witness of truth with his inconsistency. And once you are not a witness of truth, the court usually find it hard to believe your side of the story, even if your story is true, because you are not a witness of truth. And in this case, he's not just a witness. He's actually a principal party in the matter. So I don't want to dig deep to say this or that because the president has ordered investigation. But if you're asking about the testimony of the young man that's all over the media, I mean, every day you see inconsistency. And if you say your life is under threat, nobody killed you. Immediately they would know, and the people, your location was known. Nobody attempted to touch you until when the court order for your bench warrant. That's when they arrested you. So I don't want to comment on this thing. The man is not a witness of truth.
Okay. We'll wait for the ICPC investigation, even though the preponderance of people I've spoken with on this seat have, agreed that the best option to unearthing the truth would have been an independent and impartial judicial panel of inquiry.
Yes, but before you do that, you will have to, the institution of the state, who have been the organs of investigation, will have to have done their job. If they bring a finding that somebody is not satisfied with it, then you talk about independent. But you cannot, because somebody is alleging independent inquiry, then you will now go to the point of saying you will not look at the critical institutions of the state and allow them to do their job. And you see, what is imperative in this whole thing? I will not sit here and tell you there is no need for reform, because given what has happened, how there were infiltrations across value chain, I mean, I'll be dumb.
Institutional gaps, failures,
yes.
and all of that.
Yes, I will be dumb here to tell you there is no need for reform. And all over the world, when things like that happen, then a reform, comes. And this is a precedent of reform. And reform is part of progressive ideology.
Okay, final question. I know I said fat, but there are precedents, even in this administration. Better you do. Maybe a few months after President Tinubu took over, better I'll do a minister for humanitarian affairs who was engulfed in a scandal of awarding huge contracts to businesses where she had interest and all of that. She was asked to step aside for proper investigation, even though we never knew what happened up till today. We don't know the outcome, but at least she was asked to step aside, and she hasn't been recalled.
Is it the independent panel of inquiry that did it?
No.
No, I just want to answer. No.
It wasn't an independent.
Has she returned since then?
The FCC took over that investigation.
Yes,
but no, Daniel, hold on. The question is that she was asked to step aside. Under Buhari, what's his name now? Former SGF, Gbajabiamila Bribery, was asked to step aside eventually and was prosecuted. Under Jonathan, his own chief of staff, actually. In fact, that's actually a mob, just by mere, not even up to this scale, mere that it seemed like he was living way above his pay grade, was asked to, in fact, President Jonathan removed him and replaced him with somebody else. So don't you think, once again, the president ideally should have asked his chief of staff, please, step aside temporarily?
The president is in charge of his government. He makes decisions. We don't decide for him. The president has exercised good judgment on many occasions on whatever he does. And I am a testimony when he exercised judgment in my favor with respect to appointment. This president, if I will tell you the little I know about him, probably people who know him more than myself will tell you, he doesn't move because somebody said something.
I think you told me that yourself. You
Yes,
also said that.
He does not. In fact, what he does is, when the allegation becomes many, then he even suspects the premise on that there may be something positive about you. That's why people are attacking. He's an open-minded person whose decision is not quick. Check all the decisions of the president. They are usually not quick. But when they are finally made, you hardly can fault him. So that is his own style, that is his judgment, and he has been so far very effective in that. The chief of staff to the president is a very high position. If an investigation is conducted, whether he's sitting there or not, investigation will be done. Are you saying that institutions of state will hear chief of staff more than the president? That's the question they have to answer. And in case other presidents have been influenced like that, not Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I'm just wondering, as tens of millions of Nigerians too are wondering, that why, Mario Balotelli, Italian footballer, those days said, why always me?
Why always me? Why me?
Why always me? On the an inscription
And
on his shirt.
then a British pundit said, because we are exceptionally skilled.
Aha. So the question is on everybody's lips is that why always Gbajabiamila? Why is accusing fingers of large-scale corruption pointing at only one person, Mr. Gbajabiamila? I've never had anybody talk about you that you are going around. You know why I'm saying this? In the heat of all of this scandal with this so-called fake agency, news broke by People's Gazette, that Mr. Gbajabiamila wrote to the NUPRC, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, that their cost of collection, 4%, which is 4% cost of collection, that they should take 2.5% to run their as management fees. Then 1.5% should be set aside and paid to, and which 50, and that 1.5% of the 4% amounted to 54 billion naira. He wrote, citing legal position of the PIA and all of those, and that the president has directed that money. The question is, why?
Let me tell you this. I have been in this media, and to a large extent, I have been friends with the media, locally and internationally. And I know when media is being manipulated. Now, not to denigrate the position of People's Gazette, the cable or anything, but when I was appointed, I knew how these two platforms were used to malign my image. These are possibilities in the media.
So do you think this story has no substance to it?
No. What I'm saying is that I don't take it hook, line, and sinker. Why? Because that president who sits there is the one that collects briefing from the SSS, from the NIA, from Defense Intelligence, from his other means of communication, from the SGF. He is in a better position to know the authenticity of a matter like that, not these people writing. And I have also known how these platforms sometimes are being used. I am not saying this, but I'm saying the possibilities.
No, but
and I knew how I encountered.
Can you address this?
That's the point I'm saying. When they said, did they show you the document? Is it not a story that was run? Stories have been run.
They have letters that showed he wrote to that, citing in the letter.
And they showed the letter
yes, of course,
to the masses. Okay, give you an example.
They claimed all of this. I mean, openly.
Let me give you, when the letter was presented, that that other fake agency director got appointment by Gbajabiamila. That was the thing the guy was parading around. When he later learned that Gbajabiamila doesn't have the authority to appoint, he changed his story. And then we learned that it was forged. If the president, any appointment from the president will be conveyed through the secretary to the government of the I convey to you His Excellency President Bwala Tinubu's approval of your appointment as XYZ, Kiniko. So I am not the type, let me make it clear. I am not here to say authenticity or not. I am just giving you scenario. Because the investigation ordered by the president is the one that will come out with a finding. So I will never be here to tell you it is A or B, because it's subject of investigation. But when you say B, it has to be B. I am giving you scenario that it can be true and can be false as well. It is investigation that will come out with a better outcome. And I want to plead with you, sir, because you people will know better. Members of the press are the principal agent in investigation. Everything starts with them before government will start. So since you believe in the power of investigation, and none of your investigation comes out in 3 minutes, you take time. Why don't we wait until this investigation is concluded?
Okay, we'll leave this, but this other matter of the NUPRC is quite damning, but I will not prejudge. It's still, let's leave it in the realm of allegations and see what happens in the coming days. Let's switch gears, Daniel. With all this, and don't mind you, not just these 2 allegations, so there are several other allegations that are unproven yet, that we can still say are in the realm, just like this other 2 realm of allegations. But the question is, we go to all our multilateral institutions, IMF, World Bank.
In fact,
to borrow money.
The consistent and persistent sponsoring of this campaign at Gbajabiamila non-stop. For me, my discipline is suggestive
Of
a plan by a certain quarter to get the man out of there. You know, the way truth comes out is organic. The way truth is pursued is organic. And news in Nigeria usually lasts more than 1-2 weeks. This thing, if you see, I have been listening to TV houses, the people that appear, the line of argument and the rest. I am not again saying that there might not be anything they are saying because I am not in a position to investigate. But generally, if I see calculated, targeted campaign consistently, I usually know the usual suspects in the media. You see, I have been attacked so much in this media space that I already know the players and those who are behind it. And I can tell you, yes, there is no allegation about me, finance and the rest. But in terms of wanting me out of that office by the principal, it's not just the outsiders, including people in the house. But we don't want to create a situation where something will be talked about. We know what's up. The joy for me is that the man who appointed me is a media mogul, and people fail to realize that. And he has run his politics in a manner where he has seen treacheries, he has seen plans, he has seen all of that, enough for him to make his decision, not on the basis of calumny or whatever that is going on.
Let me ask you, Daniel, let me put you on the spot. Imagine if President Jonathan or any other president were in office and candidate or citizen Bwala Tinubu was in opposition. Yeah. What would you think he would do with these stories?
Oppose.
Against the sitting government?
He will oppose. That's the job of opposition. But
especially after he opposes, he has media platforms.
After he opposes, then the duty will now be on Jonathan to do the right thing and not just to be moved by media.
Fantastic. Now, is the president doing the right thing?
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. As we sit here, Daniel, Nigeria ranks 142 out of 185 countries on the corruption perception index. Does that not bother the president? Does that not bother you?
First of all,
yes,
it's a perception.
And is there really difference from perception and reality?
Yes, there are. The reason why they coin perception is reality is that from perception, people then form the opinion that it is real. It doesn't make a fact a reality. But the perception in people's mind settles in their mind as a reality. But today is not the first time, not just Nigeria, but Africa has been tagged, labeled with this corruption. Anytime I appeared on international stage, in media, and they think of Africa, do you know what they think about? Misery, degradation, corruption, and insecurity. With all the positive happening around states and countries in Africa, it doesn't get the coverage because there's a media image that has been created already. So anytime conversation like that, that's what it comes to mind. God is opening our eyes through President Donald Trump many years ago when he said fake news media. And we all shouted at him. Later, congressional finding, we found how media can be manipulated to shape a narrative. There is corruption in Nigeria as in every part of the world, including America and England. But the media houses, those ones, they will just talk once or twice. Take, for example, Nigel Farage, the leader of it used to be UKIP, but now he has changed the Reform Party now. Now he got £5 million. And they now started doing investigation and then came out and said that £5 million was a reward given to him for that narrative he was pushed to talk about the Brexit. And that why is he using it for his personal, something like buying cars and the rest, instead of what he said the money was meant for. They put pressure. One particular news media took him on that. They don't want to rest. So he decided to resign his position as the leader of that. Now they are pushing towards getting him suspended from the parliament. So you see the situation. Isn't that a corruption issue? Is he not looking to become prime minister? But you see, it won't get that much coverage like it would if it were in Nigeria. You remember in America when they started to unravel a lot of things. So Nigeria, there's a corruption situation in Nigeria, but Nigeria is making all the effort through institutional strengthening. And then prosecution. Do you know how many cases of conviction relating to corruption that EFCC has achieved? It's there, but will they talk about it? No, because they are not interested in the successes. They want to hear the failures.
Okay. I'm so glad you raised this issue of Nigel Farage, founder and leader of the Reform Party UK, who just by media pressure
Yeah.
was forced to resign. And now the pressure is on to actually
No,
make
he
him,
resigned.
Yes. And now pressure is also ongoing to make him resign his seat in the British
Yeah,
Parliament.
yeah.
Why can't we do that here in Nigeria? Why can't people, when they come under a cloud, prima facie, evidence of, misconduct, malfeasance, corruption, and all of those, just step aside?
I will
this
tell
case
you,
of Mr. Gajabia.
there are two scenarios. Number one is that to a large extent, the UK media space also comes under scrutiny if they go wrong. You know what forced Piers Morgan out of that radio station, that TV station that he went and created his uncensored, because it is believed that he took it personal, the issue relating to the Prince and Meghan. So because of that, so there is even scrutiny in the media in the UK. So you are tempted to believe the media, because if they go wrong, they will be scrutinized. Is there any scintilla of scrutiny of media in Nigeria with the influx of fake news people in our space and cocoyam journalists? Lately, because of the way media runs with revenue and viewership, mainstream houses have now gone back to radio to bring in people who don't have any record of credibility. So one scenario that I'm telling you is that because the UK media is scrutinized very strongly, stories that come from the media, to a large extent, it is believed. In Nigeria, it is not scrutinized. So anybody, if I want to take up agenda against you, Mr. Olaole, do you know it's easy? And that is what we see every day in Nigeria. You just find some of these hungry on-air personalities who have not gone through journalism, and they are not even journalists. These ones that come from under the tree, they say you are not hard enough, you are not fact-checking enough. And they are now beginning to put pressure on those ones that have built their lives to begin to tilt towards those directions because of revenue again and pressure and the rest. That's what's happening. So it's difficult in Nigeria when the report comes out and it is pushed by the media for government or even the opposition to immediately think, oh, there is a truth in it. You use the term despite credible evidence. You see, once you say credible evidence, that means it has been proven. In this case, that's not. You are saying that there is an allegation, ethically and morally, prima facie. Allegation, ethically, you should step down. So when government find it difficult to tell whether it is agenda-based, you will not want to fall into the prey. You heard what Wike said about Gbajabiamila. He said, let the opposition, the day you get your government, suspend your chief of staff. So Wike may have more information to suggest that maybe column in that regard. Now, but I will not also be here to say we do not need that type of credibility in our system, where if your image is so tarnished, step aside and let this be found. Now, when the agenda is driven against you, step aside, you never come back. Nigerian system, once you get back, you step aside, you hardly come back, because then that negative narrative will be more. So, but we have what we call a guardrail. Guardrail meaning that you can form an investigation panel. When the finding comes, the person goes. You can go to court. When there is a judgment of court, the person goes. So we have guardrails.
Okay. Final question on this. The anti-corruption agencies, EFCC, ICPC, the police, why is there an appearance, even though it's not limited to just this administration, there's an appearance of them being weaponized or instrumentalized against, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to say irrelevant, but one of my guests said they're being instrumentalized against cross-dressers, people like Bobrisky. In fact, not just Yahoo, but the apprentice Yahoo. They're devoting their energies and resources in that direction. Whereas we have high-profile, politicians who should have no business going near, our public institutions. They leave those ones.
I will tell you that from my experience as a lawyer, court is a court of evidence, right? Not, I think, see. The Yahoo and these cross-dressers you talked about do not have the wherewithal to recruit lawyers of pedigree that have mastered the administration of justice in Nigeria, and they know how to manipulate it Why I use manipulated, not in the negative sense of bribery, but how to delay until the matter dies down. That's one. So those ones are more prone to either admitting to the guilt. They are more prone to accepting plea deals. Now, whereas a politician of means, a politician of name and relationship, who probably may have even participated when he was a governor in nominating the person who has now become a judge to preside over his matter, or who has friends and families who are like that. And lately, our politicians' wives are judges. Mysteriously all over Nigeria. So it's like we're giving a better version of democracy.
Does that bother you?
How can I stop somebody from being a judge? When they married them, they were not governors now. You understand? So everybody is still reading law. That's what I'm telling you. So anybody can be a judge in Nigeria. Anybody can be attorney general, because understandably, legal profession is one that has the chunk in democracy. They have the whole arm of government to themselves. They are one arm of government in which, whether the president likes it or not, there must be a seat of the attorney general. Then there are other people. Then in the legislative, they are there. So maybe that might be the reason. You see, some people also out of experience. That if you go to Onitsha, a friend of mine from Onitsha, his entire family members are lawyers. I said, why is everybody's a lawyer? He said, historically, because they fought over land and things like that, he was saying part of the things that make everybody wants to know is right. And now you have more population of lawyers from Onitsha than the rest of, if you compare them with other parts of the South. So that may be because in Africa, if I will use the word, those in Nigeria, politicians of means can hire the best lawyers. And the best lawyers not just know the law, they know the mind of the judge.
So that's why these high-profile politicians who have allegedly or been alleged to have embezzled huge sums are just allowed to walk through the justice system.
EFCC has complained a lot. I have represented EFCC. I've interacted with EFCC over the years. My thesis is on anti-corruption. And so I have received strong input from the EFCC, ICPC, and the rest of the stakeholders. EFCC's concern is that when they will do proper investigation, they will go to court ready. But because the defense lawyers are so powerful, they know the law, they know how to manipulate it, you will see how that case is delayed. Now, I will put this thing to tell you that you cannot altogether condemn EFCC. Do you know why? Even these people cases, it's not as if they are discharged and acquitted. Is that the cases are delayed till the political leader goes, another one comes. So it is actually a delay. That is not to say EFCC is not doing well. That is to say the system is being, that was what led to Administration of Criminal Justice Act in 2015. Even with the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, with what it says, everyday trial, this, with everything, they still found a way around it. So it is not the problem of the, in my view, law enforcement. There was a time EFCC had a problem of thorough investigation. But now they do investigation, to be fair. And I cannot say EFCC will be 100% correct. Even the FBI. It was, recently the judges had to berate FBI. And even CIA itself, when they were applying this Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, where unilaterally they can just surveil you, listen to you and all that. So these are the dynamics. But not because there is a deliberate plan to victimize people who that means cross-dressers and then free those ones. No. And I hope you know a lot of politicians and former governors in our progressive party who are undergoing prosecution. They appear in court, as in they go to court every day, prosecution. Yeah, so
some of their cases have been more or less, buried. Your former party chairman, Adams Oshiomhole, senator, said once you join the APC, your sins are forgiven, your crimes.
It was political jibe. The case. I don't know the status of that case.
So many of them but let's move on, Daniel. You've been in the news again, after after your
I give them a lot of revenue, food to eat.
Over the weekend, I saw a video. Many Nigerians have seen a video where you appeared on Morayo Show in Lagos, and you had the temerity, the nerve to say that anybody in Nigeria who earns 60,000 naira is actually a lot better, has a better standard of living of the sorts than somebody who is doing care job. Do you have any problem with care people anyway? You answer.
No.
But you said 2,600 pounds sterling, salary income in London is worse off than somebody who earns 60,000. What the heck are you talking about?
Yes. You see, the way they did a short clip out of it and circulated, it's very easy for anybody.
Please explain to us.
Yes, for anybody to be infuriated. And I think that Nigerian media, Nigerian masses are being unfairly being manipulated by those who know how to manipulate this in the media. That now what they fly is they just cut. So they don't want the context of the conversation. They cut that words that you say and then push it. That was what they did, which was the same thing that was done during mediation. But for those ones who listened to it at the end of the day, they came back to me and came back to the people I know. Their feedback is very different from that. And the people, the care workers who are suffering in the UK because of that, a lot of them have reached back to me and said, thank you. In fact, keep bringing this into light. Maybe it will make the UK government to change. But let me give you the context. A question was asked by a lady in that meeting. She was passing and she saw a large crowd somewhere. And when she asked, they said people were jabbering. What is President Bola Tinubu doing to stop this jabbering? So you can see the nature of the question. In response, I now said, some of the people who are trying to jabber don't know that they have a better life than some of those people in Kiajo. Remember, one reference is UK, because in the same sentence I say, people in America and other places, their own is much better. Reference UK, issue care workers, and the emphasis is non-citizens. That was what I said. Because once you become a citizen, all the rights you're entitled to it. So that's why you have less citizens in care working job in the UK. Because you're entitled to all the rights, you can then access other places that will give you more revenue. For people who live in the UK, they know what I'm talking about. But the way it is screwed, they make it seem like, one, I am abusing those who are working there. That is to say, you're fighting dignity of labor. And then two, that what I said was not correct, that amount is better off than here. But I explained in the same video, and I said, somebody who earns 2,600 pounds in the UK, or even you can even push it to 2,800, but actually care working job entry level is between 2001 to 2004 in the UK. Now, anybody who earns that, and I was referencing London, people who stay there, gives, if it is 2006, it goes about 2004 or close to it, goes back to the system. So forget about that large amount you hear and minus 2,400 and something. So what that person actually earns that comes to him, whether to do saving or do anything, might be 200 and something. Within that 200 and something, he uses it for his transport to commute to London. Then he has to stay in the outskirts, probably zone 6, to have a cheaper accommodation. Or he has to take a second job. Because right now, there are advocacy groups in the UK who are complaining that these people who work in this care home deserve a better living and working condition than others. Not me. The English people are advocating. The point to be made is that this guy who lives in Nigeria, probably as a bank manager and the rest, and Japan, deserves a better outcome. That was my emphasis. But they don't get it there because they are not citizens. Then I now say conversely. And by the way, in the whole world, UK is one of the lowest that give money, minimum wage for people who work in care job. Australia, Switzerland, Canada, all of them are way above. So those ones in these countries where there is a high paying wages, it will resonate with them because they will say we're comfortable. And that's why I emphasize the country that this thing is the lowest. Conversely, I wanted to say minimum wage in Nigeria, then I say 60,000. But let us play around. I can withdraw the 60 and say minimum wage because care job in the UK is just a little above the minimum wage. You can do the research. So if somebody who works in care home and somebody who works here where he gets minimum wage, they are at the same level, minimum wage. The difference, the man who works in the UK has infrastructure like good road, healthcare, food, and the rest, right? But I'm sure you will know with me that the healthcare system in the UK is broken down. People come from the UK to Nigeria to do treatment and go back. When I had this problem with my throat, I did the surgery in Nigeria. Even if I say, let me recoup my money and do in the UK, if I was going to use my social security number, the fact that I'm a resident, I will have to wait for 7 months before I can access. And this is critical and life-threatening. So I have to do it here. We should rather think of how we can now expand on our healthcare system, which is what President Bola Tinubu is doing. so that there will be revenue. When we send $30 billion to UK, to the rest of the world, that 30 billion, large chunk of it will stay in our system. Now, analytical thinkers will not just dismiss what I say. They will think of what is the point you're saying. What I'm saying is that we are sending highly skilled people to the UK, brain drain. But even when they don't get there, they don't achieve what the Americans will call that the American dream. They are still confined to the lowest level, except if they are citizens.
Let me ask you, Daniel. Do you blame Nigerians, skilled workers? You know, there's a highly skilled migrant program of the UK attracting some of the best and brightest of our people in their prime, you know, nurses, doctors, and all of those, you know, teachers now. Let me ask you, do you blame Nigerians for migrating?
So I'll tell you two things. Even with the high skill, you know, because the visa route, you can see that it is more accessible and more open to those who are going through these care jobs, because that's what their system needs.
The medical field.
So not just the medical field. The highly skilled that go as doctors and nurses don't get as much visa as these ones. Why? Because the Indians and some of the Asian people have taken over the place. So their preference will now be on those. That's why there is a movement in the UK that in your job recruitment, when you send these people form for people to fill, take out race, take out certain things, because that is where you see that systemic racism and preference for other parts of the world, because they believe that they are better exposed to certain things before they come to England. Hence, England will spend less.
People for Japan?
No. This thing is very important, sir. This is very important, that the Nigerian people, if Nigerians are given what they deserve, I will have no problem. Everybody wants to go for what is better for them.
You can't dictate to the other government, the foreign country government, how to. They put the system in place, and your people still go there.
So that's why I am not dictating to them. I'm speaking. That's why in my answer I was speaking and appealing to those who wanted to job, not the ones that are even already there.
Yes, of course.
I said there is no need for you to go, because even if you are collecting the minimum wage here, there is a way you can work around it until you achieve something tangible, because there are people to loan you money, people to support you in this. You don't have to go through. Look at the cases of death. I sent you one of a recent person that died in the care job work because he worked 3 days non-stop in order to meet. It's a serious crisis there. But they don't want to bring the numbers. So I can't dictate for them, but I can, as a government spokesman, even my principal has encouraged Nigerians to not japa. Let's stay and build Nigeria. Now come to the express question. Do you blame them? Why will I blame somebody who makes a personal decision that the consequences him that will bear? So I will never blame anybody who goes out. It is like you say, this house is on fire. People have their means of running. Somebody will run, somebody will walk. But if you say, having this platform you have, what can you say to help your countrymen? I will speak in this manner to help them appreciate. It's not an issue of dignity. Somebody who does laboring work here in Nigeria, bricklayer, he deserves dignity. I will be the first to tell you my respect. My cleaners, apart from the money I pay them, which is above government minimum, I support them. So it's no issue of...
because of time. Because
okay.
of time, Daniel. Let's do this rapid fire. So I asked you, do you blame Nigerians for Japa? You have not answered. Answer is short.
No, I just told you. It's like saying, do you blame me for taking personal decision that the consequence I'm the one that will bear? Why? How can I blame you? I don't have right over your life.
The reason why most...
But Nigerian I will tell you, I won't blame you, but I will advise you.
Exactly. The risk or consequences of your decision.
That, which is exactly what we're doing.
In fact, let me put it this way, use this analogy. Some people have said to me, and I cannot fault them for saying it, that slavery in the 13th, 15th, and all of that century was forced. Africans, Europeans, Americans came here and seized, stole the best and brightest of our people, forced them to Europe, America, and all of that. Now, Daniel, that if you bring a ship or 20 ships to the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos, those ships will not leave Nigeria. You know why? The people that will board those ships by force, the sinks will ship. You know why? Brilliance. You think so?
Which is precisely... I'm coming.
Okay.
I'll give you a direct answer. Yeah. Why do you think the foreigners will not want to come and build the hospitals here? They would rather that you go there for treatment, to move the economy to their countries.
The level of insecurity in Nigeria, does it encourage Nigerians? The woman, the principal of the school of this attack in Orire, she was reported to have said, because she's a rural principal in one of the rural schools, that she decided to do that, but that she's not willing to do that anymore. All this bad news, corruption that we discussed extensively, abductions here and there, poverty everywhere, high insecurity. Do you think it will encourage anybody to want to stay in this country? Lack of electricity.
Okay, look at the gun violence in the US, for example, in cities. In Chicago, for example, you would have thought that the people will leave Chicago to another country. Still stay. One thing about problem, I will be the last to tell you there's no problem. The problem are myriad, there are many, but the people must solve their problems, right? Even government, if you think government is not doing enough, as a people, you can come together and force government to do it. That's why democracy was handed. If this one, they do one, in the next election, come out and bring another person. So see where you and I or anybody will disagree. Some believe if we don't have hope in our government, let us vacate Nigeria. I don't believe in that because Nigeria then will forever be doomed. I believe that we can sit and fight and force a change by our collective will as a people.
Okay. That's why some of us are still here.
Let me give you an example. Why will a bank manager leave his job and travel? Bank manager, he has comfortable accommodation and car and everything, and goes there and work in care job.
You never can tell what motivates people.
So this is why my answer to you, there are certain things people do you can never can.
Please, in 1 minute, if you can do this. President, the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, said Nigerians, she was trying to talk about MSMEs, medium, small, micro enterprises, that they should not, mind taking up jobs such as frying akara, in English, bean cakes, that is a lovely delicacy in our country, kuli, and roasted corn and all of those. And she came under heavy attacks. Is that the best? Is that the government MSME incubation?
That attack she came under, but it's by a creation of the opposition plus media who would always pounce on news now. You even said it. So because the opposition, they are lazy. What they think is, because of the advent of sports gaming, where you put 1 naira, get 10 million, we look down on jobs. My mother sold akara and raised us. Apart from this Gen Z that were born probably yesterday, the rest of us know how our people raised us to be better citizens and better people and instill in us the hard work. The First Lady, our mother, was not saying that is where she confined the destiny of Nigeria. If you have my money, I'm entitled to who I give. She said, I looked at those places. And by the way, she didn't talk about only akara and kuli. She talked about in healthcare and other areas. But let us talk about that akara and kuli. That is the engine room for growth in Nigeria.
Engine room for growth.
For the economic growth, small, medium enterprise is the engine, not boardrooms. Yes. Wow. Middle class and the people who are entrepreneurial. Because these people who sold akara and people in the middle class, they are the same. These ones are in public sector or private sector, and these ones are in the informal private sector. Now, look at England. 200, 300, 400 years ago, everything you're buying in England today started in the family. Russell and Bromley. Even America, Tom Ford. See these people. Now, that's small business where we say, how did they start, for example, the shoe Russell and Bromley? Probably they produce one. At that point, if there are established ones, you say, can you imagine this man? No. That's how we look down on products from Abia State. When we say, this is Abba, it's our mindset. If we tap into that industry, all of us will be out. Look at Louis Vuitton, all these classy something. They produce it in China. It's all mindset. Package it in that brand. So the First Lady was very much on point, 1,000%. And that is why we no longer have respect. Again, you remember when they said that you are abusing dignity of labor, that's why you are saying care job. You see the way they are quick to defend that, but they are not quick to defend this one. Why? Because it's coming from the government. Let me tell you this last one on this point. Have you not noticed? And that's why you can tell when political season is coming. Anytime any government person says anything, they skew it and make it go viral and create the impression the person is not popular, or anytime government speak, they goof. Now, more than 100% of that, the people on the opposition say it doesn't go viral. It's all politics. That's why this is our president. You can run any negative praise about somebody. He doesn't get moved easily. You see what he told the wife. I was in that meeting when he said, I want to recognize my wife. Yeah, like he knows. He knows it's all politics.
But is this how this president or this government is going to eradicate poverty
But let me ask you.
or create jobs.
So what do you say about our policy regarding people in the tech industry? What do you talk about the money we made accessible to entrepreneurs? So there are many other programs that are already in existence, not they will be. But the one these people will love to talk about is, why did you call Akara? They are more disrespectful to the people who sell Akara. They're repugnant to natural justice. Any man who stands and then looks down on a woman or a man who says Akara, they are senseless. Many years ago in Maiduguri, when I was growing, our Bishop David Abiyoye then, when he was teaching, he said, even if it is selling bread, you are a graduate, wear a suit or wear a cloth and put tie and be by the roadside. They will see you as different from others, and that's how they will come to you. They taught dignity of labor. This Akara woman has more honor than somebody who is patrolling from one place or the other begging for money. They are the engine room for growth. Then we will not have beggars. The ones going for banditry. This woman who sells Akara has more honor and dignity in the eyes of God and in the eyes of humanity than those ones who go for that. So this opposition are having what they call lucid interval. They are having a mental holiday. They are having, should I say, post-traumatic stress disorder? I think that's what they are having. When they come for your show, I keep listening to them. 3 things are the characteristic of this opposition. I'm telling you the truth. For reasons I don't know, the minute they come to speak, they are intellectually daft. They don't engage on issues.
That's too strong a word to use.
And I say it very carefully and intentionally. They will never, because they don't have issues to talk about. I'm being honest with you. They will like to take optics and narrative. And secondly, apart from the fact that they're intellectually daft, they don't talk issues. What would you do? What would none of them till today have said? And they will never say because they don't know what they will do. And their leaders are even misguided. Then the second one is that insult. It is so sweet. Even the media love to hear that because it makes the rating and the viewership more. So when they come on your station, Bwala, I saw Bwala on your other station, he's very stupid. Address the issue he said. He said that if you don't have respect for people who are in small-scale business, that is repugnant. They would never answer. They don't have it. The last one, fake news. Oh, they love fake news. They will pick something in the middle, misquote it, and make it go right. So 1, lack of clear mind to talk about issues. Number 2, which is the second one that has to do with insulting people. And the 3, fake news. That is the characteristic of the opposition. And they are very united in that too. Whether you are in ADC, it's the same thing. We are NDC in the same thing. I have never seen political corner 419 like Peter Obi. And all the people that follow him, even the educated ones, they talk as if they've never been to the 4 walls of the classroom. I don't know why. Because he peddled lies, he peddled negative report. Look at what he did in Lagos. This is a man who went and disobeyed traffic rule and they claimed his car. He came to one program and said that his life is under threat.
Okay.
We're
rounding up. I like that you mentioned that Peter Obi said his life is under threat. So why is your government, threatening Peter Obi's life? And what is President Tinubu doing to secure Nigerians?
I'm asking you, apart from this clamping of his car, since Peter Obi started this politics, has he ever complained of his life under threat?
I think so.
When? He has ever.
So. He didn't come out directly the way he did this time, but he has been saying his source of livelihoods, his businesses are being targeted.
That is the job. I'm glad.
But this time he said his life. That he may
I'm
glad.
I'm glad you mentioned source of life. He doesn't have anything about his life. It's just because they clamp his car. And he thinks because you're a former presidential candidate, therefore you should break the law.
Peter Obi is not a flippant person. That's a very weighty.
In fact, Peter Obi is number 1 flippant person. He never tells the truth. He's not a witness of truth. And there's a way he goes about it. He leaves you in the middle. You need to watch that interview and see so many lies that he gave, unverified facts. It is his stock in trade. But let me tell you this.
What is President Tinubu doing about securing Nigeria?
His cause of livelihood. Moku no run. Opposition, tell them. You see, let him also check the way he runs his business. If you are used to infraction, this government will not promote infraction. If you are used to tax evasion, this government will not promote tax evasion. So the fact that you are a former presidential candidate does not mean you have arrogated to yourself the status of a president, that you can go and do a wrong parking at the airport. Look at the way it went round. It is what is meant by his life under threat. Maybe that clamping is one that will explode.
what's President Tinubu doing about insecurity, making Nigerians sleep better at night? Yeah. In Makurdi, in Nasarawa, in all those places.
Yeah, I'm sure that you know that, for example, in Plateau and Benue, you have had some break for quite a while.
No.
About insecurity.
No.
Yeah.
Yesterday, killings. Plateau, Makurdi, serious killings.
Yesterday?
Yes. Yesterday.
Killing in Plateau and Makurdi?
Yes. Killings.
Yesterday?
Killings in the last 3, 4, 5 days. Killings.
Okay, now
killings.
you changed from yesterday to last 3, 4, 5 days.
No, I'm saying from yesterday, 2 days.
Are you a friend of Peter Obi?
I'm a friend of everybody, even President.
No, but I think that with Peter Obi is stronger because you said yesterday and you say 4 or 5 days.
No, Daniel,
so which one do you want me to
Daniel,
take? The yesterday on or the 4 or 5 days?
4 5 days from yesterday.
Yeah.
Killings in Plateau, in Makurdi, at least those 2 states I know.
Anyway, let me not drag more, but this is some of the styles.
No, credible information.
No, this is some of the style that media used yesterday,
Daniel,
and then 4 to 5 days. But let me tell you what the president is doing to handle that, and it is not new. The president, in whose administration for the first time, we deepen collaboration internationally. And what I mean by international, not just our neighbors in this Chad, Cameroon, and the rest, but even with the U.S. government. We conducted so many strikes that has helped us. So you can see that effort in that regard. We had joint training and intelligence sharing with them. You've seen that. The rescue of these children also shows that we prioritize their life rather than jamboree. Otherwise, from first day when we identified the location, we would have engaged. And that means that we'll be killing our people. They will say you engage, but the life of the people are not so. These are few of the many areas. The recruitment of the army personnel, the investment in the acquisition of arms, light arms, the training and retraining of the people working, the community-based organizing, and the blockbuster, the state police. Because this state police, in my view, will curb it probably by 35 to 40%, because these incidents of kidnapping, they happen in local government. When state create their police, there will be a pushback on that. So these are what the president is doing.
Final question. The president is faced with daunting, challenges, huge challenges, insecurity, poor economy, and all of those.
And it's matching them.
Lack of utilities, electricity, and all of those. And then a very strong and
hold on.
I
will not hold on. No, I will not.
We don't have time.
But let my response now. I know go hold.
Okay, 1 minute or less.
Yeah. The president, under whose administration, we now legislated opportunity that opened the space for state, local government, and private sector to participate in power. You should be asking the governors whether they are taking advantage of that.
Where do you see the president winning next year's election? How do you see him winning? How do you see the president winning next year?
When you ask a question and you have less than 1 minute to close, it is a trap.
No, it's not a trap.
Because you will pick that small something.
I told you that's what would end up now. Because you had said you win
okay,
South,
would you want me to answer this question? Is it 2027 election? Yes. Without sounding arrogant, the president is on course.
On course for defeat?
On course for victory. 1, the president delivered our economy.
Really?
Yes, from death. And we are now doing the... You're asking really when you know all the data. Then number 2, the president has proved his political mettle in uniting Nigeria to achieve a common front. You see the way he relates, even with governors who are not from our state, from our party, he funds them, he supports them. 3, the president has done one magical thing. The community that gave the vote to Peter Obi was the Christian community, not even because of Peter Obi. Peter Obi became an image through which the church reacted to the Muslim ticket. The president has addressed that very robustly, that Christians under his administration have enjoyed inclusivity more than under previous administration. And president does not discriminate against any religion. You can see that in everything he does. And finally, if the president is going to be defeated, who will defeat him?
Okay. How would you feel if I tell you that Professor Usman Bugaje, strong northern leader, Professor Ibrahim Jibrin, strong northern leader, of course, Professor Usman Yusuf, a veteran critic who will never say anything good about. They sat where you sat and told me that the president is not getting shishi. He's not getting anything.
Let me tell you.
Northwest and Northeast.
They just have one vote. Some of them are not even in touch with the masses. They are being considered, in this northern Nigeria, they consider them as elite. And I think that Erufai, when he was with us, he proved that. When he said in the north, we the governors are the leaders of the party. Do you know they said Ashwaju was losing?
Daniel,
what happened?
That's
what you want.
This RFI you mentioned is in detention under your government, and you think Northerners will vote for it?
No, he's facing the wrath of the. Did you hear when he said that he had security gadget where he intercept communication of a national security advisor? Why are you people trivializing this?
Not granted bail?
Am I the quote?
Daniel, nice having you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
this again, of course.
Anytime.
We'll see
And I know by the time your friends, the opposition come,
Yes.
they will say all kinds of insults. Let it come.
It's the territory, it comes to the territory. Nice having you again, Daniel.
My
See
appreciation,
you next
as
time.
always. Thank you very much.